What should be done if Mbole is involved in a maritime casualty? What is maritime casualty? According to Section 306I, MSO 1952, a maritime casualty refers to any event involving a ship where the vessel has been abandoned or is not in command, has suffered material damage that causes or is likely to cause a discharge, has become stranded, or has experienced an occurrence on board that results in the escape of oil or harmful substance, or that causes pollution to Malaysian waters, any Malaysian coast, or any Malaysian reef. When a maritime casualty occurs within Penang port limits, such as a collision between a Malaysian vessel and a foreign vessel, the Merchant Shipping Ordinance 1952 clearly outlines the procedure. Section 306J, MSO 1952, requires the master of a ship in Malaysian waters which experiences a maritime casualty to report such incident to the port officer, Regional Director of Marine Northern Region, within 24 hours where the ship is in a port limit, or to the Director of Marine where the ship is outside a port limit. Reports can be made in writing, by telex, or by radio, but verbal reports must be followed up with a written report. Failure to report can lead to a fine of up to 10,000 ringgit under Section 306J3, MSO 1952. At the same time, the vessel owner or any person can also report the incident to the nearby police station. The captain must fill out the KEM/LAUT1 form, prescribed by the Director of Marine through MSN 27/2010, and submit it to the port officer, Regional Director of Marine Northern Region. According to Section 81, MSO 1952, the owner who fails to comply with the MSN will be liable to a fine not exceeding 25,000 ringgit for each ship in respect of which an offense is committed. Next, under Section 306JA, MSO 1952, where a maritime casualty has occurred, the Director of Marine may cause an investigation to be conducted by a port officer, Regional Director of Marine Northern Region, or an authorized officer to determine the nature and causes of the maritime casualty, or the damage which the ship has sustained, or the extent of damage caused to Malaysian waters, any Malaysian coast or Malaysian reef. Before appointing the investigation officer, IO, a police report is required to be made. Investigators have full legal authority to board ships, collect evidence, and prepare reports. Investigation officers then prepare a preliminary investigation paper, PIP, and submit the PIP to the Director of Marine. The Director of Marine will discuss the PIP with the Minister. If further detailed investigation is required, the Director appoints a new investigation officer to prepare a comprehensive investigation paper, CIP. Then the investigation officer will submit it to the Director of Marine for reviewing. The Director of Marine will discuss with the Minister and then only decides whether to compound or prosecute the offenders in court. If the decision is to compound, then the port officer, Regional Director of Marine Northern Region, will be minuted by the Director of Marine to instruct the IO to meet the Deputy Public Prosecutor in Penang State. Once the Deputy Public Prosecutor has confirmed the offense is valid under the MSO 1952, then only he will minute to the port officer, Regional Director of Marine Northern Region. The port officer, Regional Director of Marine Northern Region, will prepare all the necessary minutes and documents to the Director of Marine. The Director of Marine will issue the compound to the offender to make payment within 30 days. If no payment is made, then only the Deputy Public Prosecutor will register this case to the court. Another scenario is if the Director of Marine would like to charge the offender to court, then the Director of Marine will minute to the port officer in Penang and meet the Deputy Public Prosecutor to register it to court. The Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency, MMEA, also has independent investigation authority. The MMEA Director General may appoint IO to prepare the CIP. This report will be submitted to the MMEA Director General, and the MMEA Director General will discuss with the Minister. If they would like to proceed to compound, then the MMEA Director General will minute to the IO to meet their Deputy Public Prosecutor, which is located in MMEA itself, to verify the offense found. After verification, the Deputy Public Prosecutor of MMEA will minute to the Director of Marine to issue the compound to the offender. Another scenario is if the MMEA Director General would like to charge the offender to court, then the MMEA Director General will minute to the IO in Penang and meet the Deputy Public Prosecutor to register it to court after verification by the Deputy Public Prosecutor of MMEA. Through these procedures, the Malaysia Marine Department ensures that every vessel entering Penang port operates safely, protects the environment, and complies with all international maritime conventions. This system not only maintains Malaysia's reputation as a responsible maritime nation, but also ensures the safety of our seas and people. When an oil pollution incident occurs within Malaysian waters, response operations are managed under the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, which functions under the Prime Minister's Department as the lead coordinating authority for all national disasters. As outlined in Arahan NADMA No. 1, DASAR, Dan Mechanism Pengurusan Bencana Negara. NADMA is responsible for formulating, coordinating, and enforcing Malaysia's national disaster management policy across all sectors and administrative levels. To give effect to this policy, Malaysia's disaster management framework operates through a three-tier structure. At the federal level, the Central Disaster Management Committee, JPBP, chaired by NADMA, coordinates the overall federal-level response. At the state level, the State Disaster Management Committee, JPBN, led by the State Civil Defense Force, State APM, is responsible for coordinating disaster management within each state. At the local level, the District Disaster Management Committee, JPBD, coordinated by District APM, manages and implements response operations within the respective districts. Within the maritime domain, Clause 10 of Arahan NADMA No. 1 specifically classifies maritime disasters, including ship collisions, oil spills, and marine pollution, as national disaster categories. In this context, different lead agencies are designated based on the nature of the incident. For maritime accidents involving loss of life or property, the MMEA acts as the lead agency, guided by the National Aeronautical and Maritime Search and Rescue Manual, NAMSAR. Conversely, for oil spills and marine pollution, the Department of Environment, DOE, serves as the lead agency by using the Malaysia Oil Spill Contingency Plan, MOSCOP, while the Malaysia Marine Department operates as the On-Scene Commander, OSC, responsible for executing containment, cleanup, and pollution control actions at the incident site. Building on this institutional arrangement, the MOSCOP, applicable to all Malaysian maritime zones as defined in the new map of Malaysia 1979, provides a unified national framework for preventing, responding to, and recovering from oil pollution incidents in Malaysian waters. MOSCOP is built upon the Environmental Quality Act 1974, the Exclusive Economic Zone Act 1984, the MSO 1952, and international conventions such as MARPOL 7378, OPRC 1990, CLC 1992, and the 1992 Fund Convention. Under this framework, the plan designates the DOE as the lead agency for marine pollution emergencies under NSC Directive No. 20, with the Malaysia Marine Department acting as the OSC at sea, and the MMEA serving as the Search and Rescue, SAR, lead agency. When an oil spill occurs, notifications may be submitted via the DOE hotline, IAD1 system, or DOE email, after which DOE completes the preliminary notification form and, together with Malaysia Marine Department and MMEA, conducts an initial assessment using aerial surveillance, marine patrols, and environmental data. Once the initial situation has been assessed, the response is then escalated according to severity through three tiers. Tier 1 applies to localized spills that are manageable by facility operators under their Oil Spill Response Plan, OSRP. Tier 2 applies to spills requiring state-level coordination, activating the State Oil Spill Operation Committee, SOSC, chaired by the State DOE Director. Tier 3 is reserved for large-scale, multi-state or transboundary spills, activating the National Oil Spill Operation Committee, NOSC, chaired by the DOE Director General, and allowing cooperation through regional mechanisms such as the ASEAN Regional Oil Spill Contingency Plan, ROSCP, and joint SOPs for the Straits of Malacca, Singapore, and the South China Sea. During the operational response phase, MOSCOP sets out detailed technical and scientific requirements. It requires oil spill trajectory modeling within 4 hours, the use of Environmental Sensitivity Index, ESI, maps, scat shoreline surveys, and the deployment of booms, skimmers, approved dispersants, or shoreline cleanup methods, depending on operational needs. At the same time, wildlife protection measures are activated through Malaysia Oiled Wildlife Response Plan, MOREP, involving agencies such as Perhilatan, the Sabah Wildlife Department, or the Sarawak Forestry Corporation. To coordinate all these activities on the ground, the Emergency Command Center, ECC, oversees the response through designated positions such as the Incident Commander, Safety Officer, Media Officer, Communications Officer, Plotting Officer, and Data Logger, while cross-border assistance is facilitated by Customs, Immigration, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In addition, salvage operations and cargo transfer must comply with the MSO 1952, and recovered waste must be handled as scheduled waste under the Environmental Quality, Scheduled Waste, Regulations 2005. Finally, once cleanup objectives are met, operations are officially terminated by the relevant committee, followed by a post-mortem within 14 days and a post-spill monitoring program to evaluate environmental recovery and socioeconomic impacts. Through this integrated legal, scientific, and operational framework, MOSCOP ensures that any oil spill in Malaysian waters is managed swiftly, systematically, and effectively, safeguarding marine ecosystems, coastal communities, and Malaysia's reputation as a responsible maritime nation.
That's all for a video. Thank you. See you in the next video.